Women in the future are going to be facing a lot more subjugation, slavery, and human trafficking. The problem is, in the white world order, especially if you're a white woman, you're not being given the truth as to why this is. You're being given a false truth. Everything is being blamed on Muslims. Everything is being blamed on brown people. And they're lying about you, white woman. Your brothers, your dads, these white guys that are on the internet, they're lying about you as women 24/7. They're blaming you for the existence of non-white people. They're blaming you. And I know the real you. I know you don't have compassion for me. I don't know you don't want to talk to me, don't want to be my friend. And that's a lie. They're lying about you. They're lying on you. And why are they lying on you? Okay. If you're paying attention, you realize that Nick Fuentes, who's friends with the president, who's friends with Alex Jones, who's leading the far right, who's seen as the next fear of America after Donald Trump, after MAGA, he's talking about the gulags and the concentration camps really being there for women. Okay? So women are being blamed for all the world's problems, along with the Muslims, and they want you to be breeders. And in reality, you're not just going to be breeding, more white children. You're going to be bringing in another form of life that might be new to the human species. Actually, there's something very insidious about the evil in the society that wants you enslaved and wants you hating good men that are against human trafficking. So that's the interdiscipline that your gender needs to make it through the future. You've got to somehow get in control of yourself and the demonic voices in your head that tell you that bad guys are decent, that you should talk to bad guys. They don't talk about human trafficking. They don't talk about wars. They don't talk about racism. And your kind is typically allergic to those of us men that are psychic, that are different. And I see no evidence that you like brown men. I see plenty of evidence you like black men, but last time I checked, I wasn't black. Right? So I know that from my real world experience, especially now in 2026, living in the Dallas area, that you as women don't like other women, that you are the ultimate misogynist, in my experience. Misandrous? Not always. In fact, a lot of you are totally down with evil men, evil white men. But when it comes to human trafficking and exposing what these evil white men are doing, we're not just talking about Epstein. We're talking about what's happening in your town, what's happening with your mayor, what's happening with your pastors, what's happening with your dads, what's happening with your brothers. As long as you people continue to point your fucking fingers at other families and other races and other countries, you reveal yourselves to be demons. And as long as you do that, you open up a whole new world of oppression, of demonic oppression. It's amazing how many of you self-described Christians don't actually have any evidence that you've done anything to fight human trafficking or to give women advice. So women are natural followers, right? It's basically how they are. They are subservient to the matrix system in every possible way. And the matrix system is about slavery. It's about controlling people. It's about brainwashing people. So you have a lot of brainwashed women that also work very hard to make sure that other women are brainwashed. So there is something demonic and evil about human consciousness, especially with modern white and black people that are projecting onto people that look like they're from the third world. There was a lot of this god and goddess complex with modern whites and blacks in America that you typically don't see from Hispanics, Arabs, people that are mixed race. This is very specific to a lot of people that are white and black in America, that they believe that they have basically, for lack of a better word, a divine right to rule. Okay? And that other people are just not worth as much as them. So as a result of that, and as a result of the shadow banning, messages like mine, which are not new, which have been taking place for over 20 years, warning you, little lady, about the human trafficking of the future, I've been doing for over 20 years, okay? And yet, the women of the world don't care about you, don't care about my message. So they don't then take my message to the woman who's still suffering, to the daughter who needs decent advice, right? They're basically engaging in an open air conspiracy to keep everybody ignorant. So there is something evil that seems to be corded into people that gives them pleasure when they hurt other people, that gives them pleasure when they molest other people, that gives them pleasure when they vote for people that are basically sending people to an early grave. That's a great way to describe this. So for whatever reason, you were born into hell, just like me, and there is something spiritual about this. There is something that you need to learn from this. Why you were born, why you exist, why you're in a pretty body if you are in a pretty body. Now, for those of you that are not in pretty bodies, for those of you that are not considered sexy, right, you may have certain advantages in the future that the pretty women won't have, right? Would you consider yourself to be number one if the human traffickers were looking for sex slaves? You know, the type of woman that people would pay a whole lot of money to have sex with? Does that describe you? If it's not something that would describe you, you should jump up for joy. You should jump with joy, do backflips, and be grateful, right? Because women in this society that have been convinced to place their value on their breasts, heaven forbid, you know, they get like plastic surgery, Botox, or do this weird alien shit where they're basically looking like aliens, having alien faces, no longer looking like normal, beautiful, healthy Homo sapien females. Now they're looking like a beast. And this is real common. This is real common for women making themselves out to be, you know, basically a beast to fit in with what? With what? The beast system. Now with beast computers and beast technologies. So on that note, for the women that are pretty, that are cell phone addicts, that have all that data, it's just a matter of time before that data is used against them. And their loving white government, although they'll try to say that we're a Muslim government now, we'll try to say that we're an anti-white government now. No, we're not. We're not an anti-white government. We're a white supremacy government. We're a government right now where in the United States, Donald Trump is the fucking president. So Donald Trump, as the white nationalist president, cared about white women, cared about white people, right? If he wasn't actually just a demon who was plotting our downfall and planning to sell our babies while drinking their blood, if he wasn't that, there's a lot of things that Donald Trump would be doing to keep women safer. There would actually be a curtailing of violent pornography, where on that, which is something that I quit for at least a couple of months now, there is a lot of pro-human trafficking, pro-sexual assault content. And I've said for years that by making this available to children, by making this available to little girls, by making this available to little boys, they're popularizing the future, and they're conditioning them to not only go along with the human trafficking, but to participate in it themselves. So you read about these stories about these children, human trafficking other children, or young white women like here in Dallas, like trafficking a 13-year-old. And yet the focus will be in your world on Muslims, on people that aren't white. And in reality, the reason that they're doing that, the reason why they're engaging in genocide, is they want you all for themselves. They don't want any forms of other forms of genetics to come in. My mother was white. My father wasn't. And as a result of me being mixed, I have a higher than average libido, intelligence, creativity, psychic ability. Many things that I have predicted are coming to fruition, right? So actually, the most revolutionary thing you can do as a white woman in the society is to have a non-white, non-black baby. And to be part you, part something else, like part me or part something else. It's something that threatens the world order, but you shouldn't have a child in the system, in this KKK system, if you're not preparing that child for how to survive. You know, to just have a child and to not care about that child and to not nurture that child and to not warn that child about human trafficking, which a lot of women won't warn their children about, or about the bad men, or about the tactics that bad men will use to get you in the bed or get you pregnant or to kidnap you. So we're basically dealing with a soulless society that can be described to hell. Well, you're not going to get the right information from the school system. You're not going to get the right information from media or social media or your parents. You're going to have to go out and forge that information. And never before in the history of mankind, this is the good news. you've never had greater access to a variety of perspectives out there, right? So you should learn martial arts. You should learn basic history. You should also learn about the nature of white supremacy and the genocidal program that's coming, because in the future, as a white woman, you're going to come under physical assault and attack from various groups that are angry at what your people have done to them. Right? Your brothers don't care. Your fathers don't care. Your sons don't care. Your husbands don't care. Your grandpas don't care. They're happy that there's going to be this genocide. They're doing backflips going ice, ice, baby. And if they're not doing that on the right, they're being super passive on the left, and they're on NPR speaking in the passive voice, being all calm and feminized to appease some demonic woman who's standing behind him as he talks into the microphone. You don't have superior men in your society that are psychic, that are masculine, that are fighting for your favor. I am. I'm right about the things taking place right now, and I'm right about what's coming later. I know that these detention facilities that are being built might have a lot of women in them in the future, and when Nick Fuentes says that the gulags are for women, as you know, there's a certain amount of women that protest, and that Donald Trump says that he's going to bring back the Insurrection Act, the causes and conditions continue to be built that will be enslaving women in the future. We'll be making them sex slaves. And in the future, there will be an American for Sale website or something like that, where they might start selling women in a collapse for about $150,000 for a while, till the market becomes oversaturated and the price goes down to $15,000 per female. That's the future that we're living in. Right? And so women need to wake up and realize that the women around them are against them. If they're not supporting men that are fighting human trafficking, if they're talking shit about me personally, if you show them my videos and they start foaming at the mouth going, bad man, you're dealing with an evil entity or a demon that is inside the body of that woman. And understand, demons know me. They know my name. They know my energy. They know my presence, and they don't like me. Okay, people that have demons, evil spirits within them, controlling them, pulling their strings, they don't like me, and they don't want me in their spaces. And that's the ultimate reason why they want to commit a genocide of the entire Middle East, all the countries, dropping nukes upon nukes, and why it's the only thing that makes them happy. They're working on behalf of demons, and these demons that are controlling a lot of people right now, they want women, right? They want a new form of life on the planet. Right? They want to get rid of women. They want femicide. They also want to get rid of the men. They want to bring us into this robot, alien invasion reality where our genetics continue to get tampered with. Right? We continue to deal with every soar maximum, the alien intrusion into our reality, whether it's a physical reality or whether it's an unseen reality. And oftentimes it is an unseen reality, something that we do not see. Okay? So you need to wake up and realize that there is an agenda to destroy the United States and turn American women into products to make them slaves again. You need to understand who the president is. You need to understand what the agenda is. Not that Biden was any better. Biden was also a molester. Biden was also a pedophile, from what we can see with his hands around the kids in 2014. It was a video that I edited years ago and actually did great. So before Trump was on the scene, I was exposing Joe Biden. Right? I don't have a dog in the race, so to speak, when it comes to Democrats versus Republicans. It's the same system of white supremacy. It's the same system of pedophilia. It's the same system of human trafficking. Right? So women alive today need to grow up and, as the New Agers might say, upgrade their DNA. And you need to develop some attraction and kindness to decent men that are not part of the problem.